One of the most frequently asked questions I get is how to keep career mode saves fun. Maybe you're playing through one or two seasons of a save, starting to lose interest, and then repeating the process with an entirely new save. It's a common problem that I used to run into, but since implementing some of the tips that I'm going to mention in this video, I genuinely find myself in a pretty good spot with FIFA 21 and look forward to recording the content that I share here on YouTube. I hope you can find some of these tips helpful, and if you have any strategies of your own, feel free to drop a comment with them, as I'm all about us helping each other out and getting the most out of career mode this year. Also, leaving a like on the video is a great way to let me know you're enjoying this content and helps out a lot with the YouTube algorithm, and subscribing is the best way to stay up to date when new videos go live. It may sound obvious, but choosing the right kind of save will have a massive impact on whether you enjoy it or not. I recommend spending some time figuring out what it is about career mode that makes you want to play it. Personally, I find the most fulfillment from taking a mid-table side with a bit of history and leading them back to the success that they once had. Some other common motivations might be a save focused on developing a strong youth academy, in which case pick a club whose youth development objective is critical or high. Maybe you prefer taking a road to glory route, so choose a team from one of the leagues with several divisions. If you've done all that, a challenge career mode is also a viable option. I've posted a couple of them already on the channel that you can use as inspiration, but one of the more popular challenges is a journeyman save. Essentially, this is where you start at a club in a non-top 5 league, achieve as much as possible, and at the end of the season, review what job offers are available and move to a new club. You can adjust the rules as you see fit, but this is a fun way to try out new teams and different players. I think it's fair to say that transfers are something that most people find exciting in career mode, and ultimately, this is what is going to make your save unique. Therefore, it's important for you to decide what kind of transfers you would like to make in your career mode. There's a few ways that you can do it. First, you can sign the best players for the areas of the team that you think need the most improvement. There are plenty of players in career mode with a lot of upside, so if you're just concerned of how the squad plays in game, you can use the global transfer network or a FIFA database site to narrow down your search. However, for me, the secret sauce to a save and the biggest reason why I've enjoyed career mode so much this year is realistic transfers. If you spend some time researching the club you've chosen to manage, you'll quickly start to notice trends. For example, most clubs will often sign more players of a certain nationality or from a particular league. It's also not uncommon for a club who's still working their way up the league table to lose players to more successful clubs. Older players who are approaching the end of their career also often make the return to a club or a league that they started at. There's plenty more to cover about realism, and it could probably make for its own video, so if that's something you're interested in seeing, let me know in the comment section. But I think the big takeaways are: limit the number of transfers you make regardless of your transfer budget. Keep some of the original squad players in your starting 11, and try not to replicate too many transfers across saves. Have a purpose for each transfer so that you can rationalize it. Players with a real face in game adds to the realism, but they're not the end all be all. Try to keep things like squad numbers and contracts up to date, and finally, have enough squad depth and at least attempt to rotate your side in cup matches and the like. Crafting a storyline from your save is another way to help develop new goals and challenges in your career mode. Generally, when I start a save, I'll try to have some predetermined goals in mind for each season. Know who your rivals are so that you can keep tabs on them as you progress. Ultimately, there will be seasons where you might over or underperform your preset expectations, perhaps at a reward of an extra transfer when you overachieve your goals. On the contrary, transfer listing a star player when you underachieve. This again helps with keeping your squad balanced and ensures you're progressing at the right momentum. Definitely try to build upon the uniqueness of your save, keep track of any big transfers that go on around the world, and continue trying to develop your youth academy, checking for any pre-contract, free agent, or regen transfers. If you don't know about regens, I have a tutorial explaining them in detail, but they're essentially a player created by the game to replace a retiring player. They're going to have exactly the same position and also the same potential, so you can get some talented prospects out of regens. With dynamic potential being an added feature since last FIFA, it's also possible to revive the career of some former wonder kids that might have since dropped in their potential. If you've been playing career mode for a few years now, do a quick search for some of your favorite players and see how they're getting on in FIFA 21. Gameplay is always a controversial topic, but regardless of what you think about FIFA 21, there are ways to make the gameplay better fit your playstyle. The easiest way to stop being bored of playing games is to give yourself more of a challenge. If you're winning, let's say 75% or more of your matches, and you're not already playing on legendary or ultimate difficulty, it's probably time to bump up those difficulty settings. If you pick up some early losses, don't sweat it. Give yourself some time to adjust to the new gameplay. And I've never really used sliders up until this year, but I think it is a viable option. In my opinion, counterattacking football is far too easy in FIFA 21, so adjusting some of the CPU defensive sliders would be a good start if you're running into the same sort of problem. I've also been more open to simulating matches, which is easier now than ever with some of the new features like interactive match sim. Granted, some of the simulated results aren't always the most realistic, but you can still progress through seasons at a quicker pace and probably spend a month, at most 2 months in each save. Somewhat related to realism, but I'm going to include it in the gameplay section. Try to be mindful about what development plans you use on your players. Since it's pretty easy to change things like skill move, a player's weak foot ability, and work rates, I try to make sure whichever dev plan I use doesn't change the player's default skill set. This was apparent in my first career mode save of the year when Danny Ings had 5-star skill moves as a result of the dev plan I used, which took away from the immersive experience for me. The final tip I have is to make your career mode social. With the number of outlets available today to connect with the career mode community, it's easier than ever to bring new opinions and perspectives on board to a save. Whenever I post a video, I look forward as much to reading over the comments to get some new ideas for player signings and directions to take the save, but it goes deeper than that. There are Discord, Instagram, Reddit, and Twitter communities where you can engage with and continue to learn new things about career mode. I know something like an online career mode is on the wish list of a lot of career mode players, but in the meantime, we need to do what we can to keep the game mode interesting. I'm going to set a challenge for each of you watching to create a new save file and try doing a career mode for a new club or a league you're not as experienced in. Try to take on some of the tips mentioned in this video, and better yet, consider leaving a comment talking about your save to help inspire others. The takeaway from this video is that if you give yourself enough time to immerse yourself into the save, you can get a new enjoyment out of FIFA 21 career mode. Again, I hope you find some of these tips helpful, and if you want to see some more tips and tricks videos in the future, let me know down in the comments section. But if you enjoyed today's video, make sure you leave a like, subscribe to the channel if you're new around here. But until next time, this has been Flick. I'll be talking to you all again soon.